Hillary Clinton has surrounded herself with all the people that we got a taste of yesterday on the show when Jill was here. And funny enough, that's what led me to stop any kind of speculation on whether I'd support Hillary Clinton. That ended the debate for me. And I read in the paper, and actually that Matt Pike piece we were talking about from the New York Times magazine, where they said Hillary Clinton's part of the DLC, everybody knows, Democratic Leadership Council. It's the same people that produced Bill Clinton, but they also produced Joe Lieberman. And they're supposed to be the so-called centrists. And now there's a new group, Third Way, which Jill works for now. And Jill used to be a co-host of us with us at the Young Turks. Now she's in D.C. working for them. And she gave us some of their stances yesterday. I got to tell you something. Hated it. Couldn't stand it. The people around her, not only as they say support the Third Way kind of approach, but I've seen it. I've seen those supporters, the Mark Penns of the world and everyone else around in the Hillary Clinton campaign, my main worry is they start with Republican assumptions. I mean, look at Hillary Clinton's last ad right before the Iowa caucuses. First words on the screen is, nation at war. But that's how George Bush starts his ads. I'm not buying it. And look, I'm not going to get too on her. A lot of people get on her for that ad. There are other things in the ad, and that's not all she's talking about. But overall, I'm afraid that they are not going to change the psychology of Washington, that they are infected with the same virus, which is the Republicans are always right, and we have to go closer to them, and we have to go further to the right, and we have to appease them, and we have to accommodate them, and we have to find, quote-unquote, common ground. Look, overall, I'm a person who believes in finding common ground. But my God, man, we've already found way too much common ground with the Dick Cheneys of the world. It's got to end. We've got to draw a line somewhere. And 2008 is definitely the place to draw that line. And I'm afraid Hillary Clinton isn't going to draw it sharp enough. Not that she won't be any difference from George Bush. That would be a ridiculous thing. She'd be a tremendous difference from George Bush or any of the Republican candidates. And I'm not a Ralph Nader type. I believe that there are differences in the parties. That being said, I would prefer a little bit more change than what Hillary Clinton's offering. So I have eliminated Hillary Clinton. Okay. Whoa, I'm sure she's scared. But in my mind, I will not be voting for her. But the interesting part is, in a statement to one of the Iowa newspapers, she said, well, you know, the caucuses start at 6:30 p.m. Iowa time, and, you know, a lot of my voters, because of that, might not show up. Okay, whoa. Okay, let's analyze that for a second. You know, that was just like buried in like the 18th paragraph of the story, but I was like, no, you just buried the lead. Number one, why wouldn't they show up at 6:30? I mean, what's wrong with 6:30? It's not like they're doing it at 3:30 in the morning. And why would your voters be less likely to show up at 6:30 than anybody else's voters? Unless you think you're going to lose. So, what they're doing, obviously, is they're trying to bring down expectations. If they're trying to bring down expectations, that might mean that their internal polling shows they're going to lose. And then they're getting people ready to, hey, look, if we lose in Iowa, it's not a big deal. It's, you know, we can get beyond it. We've got New Hampshire. We've got plenty of other states. We still have a big nationwide lead. But you don't dampen expectations like that if you think you're going to roll. Because Hillary has not been dampening expectations for a long, long time. She's been doing the opposite. She's been saying, hey, listen, I'm going to crush these fellas. And so this is not really interesting. Look away. Look at the Republicans or something, because I got a huge lead and this thing's not going anywhere. For now, a week out before the election, for her to turn around and say, hey, you know what? Yeah, we might not quite win because our voters might not show up at 6:30 p.m. God, what a weird statement that is. What a funny, quizzical statement that is. That's not a good sign for the Hillary Clinton campaign.